If you think this story is dark, wait until you see how deep it goes. Don't forget to subscribe, because once you step into this mystery, there's no turning back. It was a warm Saturday afternoon in the quiet town of Fairview, Ohio. The kind of neighborhood where front porches creaked, sprinklers hissed across perfect lawns, and everyone waved at everyone else. But at 5:47 p.m., peace shattered when 8-year-old Dylan Cooper vanished from his own backyard. His mother, Laura, was inside the kitchen frosting cupcakes for his birthday party the next day. She said she could still hear him laughing, playing with his red soccer ball near the old oak tree. She was gone for barely 3 minutes. When she came back, the ball was there. Dylan wasn't. At first, it didn't seem real. Laura checked the shed, the neighbor's yard, even behind the fence. Nothing. By the time she called 911, the whole street was outside, searching. Drones flew overhead. Police set up perimeter lines, and the sound of search dogs echoed through the woods behind the house. But Dylan was gone without a trace. Detective Michael Rains arrived just before sunset. A veteran investigator with a calm voice and a reputation for solving tough missing child cases, he walked the property slowly, taking everything in. No broken fence, no footprints, no signs of a struggle, he muttered. It's like the ground swallowed him whole. But something strange caught his attention. A single sheet of white paper pinned to the backyard fence, gently fluttering in the wind. It hadn't been there before. He pulled it free. The note read, "If you want to find him, follow what he loved most." There were no fingerprints, no handwriting match in the system. The words had been typed on an old manual typewriter. Whoever wrote it wanted to be found, but only on their terms. The FBI joined the search within 24 hours. Nay, Boers were interviewed, security cameras were pulled from every corner of the neighborhood, and tips poured in from across the state. But none of them led anywhere. By the third day, hope was fading, until Detective Rains got a call from dispatch just after midnight. A farmer 4 miles from town had found something unusual in his field. A child's soccer ball, half buried in mud, red paint smeared across it like a fingerprint. Rains drove out immediately. The headlights cut through thick fog as he reached the property. Officers stood around the ball, talking in low voices. One of them held up a flashlight and pointed at the dirt nearby. There, carved crudely into the soil with a stick, were 4 words. "He's still playing, Detective." Rains's heart sank. The words weren't just a clue. They were personal. Whoever had taken Dylan knew his name, knew he was leading the case. He crouched down, his flashlight sweeping over the message. That's when he saw something glinting beside the words. A silver key, small and unmarked, half buried in the dirt. Rains picked it up and turned it over. On the back, engraved in tiny letters, was a single word. Basement. He looked up toward the horizon. The farmer's house stood 100 yards away, lights still on inside. And in that moment, Detective Rains felt something he hadn't felt in years. A sharp chill crawling up his spine. Because if this was really a game, the next move wasn't his to make.
The wind howled across the empty field as Detective Rains stood frozen, the small silver key warm in his hand. The engraving, basement, was precise, deliberate. Whoever left it wanted him to find it. He turned toward the farmer's house, its porch light flickering weakly in the distance. "No one goes in or out until I say," he ordered the officers. They nodded, forming a perimeter as he walked the narrow dirt path to the back door. The farmer, an older man named Harold Kent, opened the door before Rains could knock. His face was pale, eyes sunken from sleepless nights. "I already told the others, Detective," he said nervously. "I don't know how that ball got there." Rains studied him. "Do you have a basement, Mr. Kent?" Harold hesitated just for a moment. "Yeah, it's an old storm cellar. I haven't been down there in years." Rains motioned to an officer. "Show me." They crossed through the kitchen, the floorboards creaking under their boots. Harold led them to a trapdoor near the pantry, Its handle rusted from time. A padlock dangled from it, old but recently polished. Rains held up the key. Let's find out if this fits. It did. The lock clicked open with a sound that felt louder than thunder. Rains pulled the door up and shined his flashlight down into the dark. A narrow staircase led into a space swallowed by shadows. Dust floated in the beam of light like ash. He descended slowly, each step groaning under his weight. The air grew colder, thicker, and then he saw it. Against the far wall, on a small wooden table, sat a folded piece of paper and an old cassette recorder. A single red light blinked on its side. He unfolded the note. "You're following well, detective, but you're not the only one being watched." Rains pressed play on the recorder. A man's voice filled the air, calm and clear. "You're wondering why I took him, aren't you?" "What?" Detective Ryan Rains drove like a man possessed. The streets of Fairview blurred past in streaks of blue and gold as the cruiser's siren screamed into the night. His partner, Rachel, sat beside him, clutching the tablet that still showed Dylan's terrified face frozen on the paused feed. The coordinates didn't lie. The kidnapper's signal was coming directly from Rains's home. When they arrived, the neighborhood was dark and quiet. The porch light on Rains's house flickered weakly, and his stomach twisted. His front door unlocked. He always locked it. Always. He pushed it open slowly, gun drawn, flashlight cutting through the dark. "Police!" he shouted. "If you're in here, come out!" No answer. Rachel followed close, covering his back. The house felt colder than usual, unnaturally still. Family photos lined the hallway walls. Rains, his ex-wife before the divorce, their teenage daughter, Lily. But something was wrong. Every photo frame had been turned face down. In the living room, the TV was on static. The only light came from the flickering screen. And on the coffee table sat another cassette tape with a note taped to it. Rains's hand trembled slightly as he peeled the note free. It read, "You've searched everywhere but here, detective. You should have listened to the laughter." He inserted the tape into the player. The same calm voice filled the room, smooth and deliberate. "Welcome home, Ryan. You've been chasing me for days, but the truth was always closer than you thought. Tell me, do you ever hear them? The echoes of your own mistakes?" Rains's pulse quickened. "What is this?" he whispered. The voice continued. "You left the gate open once, remember? The day your daughter almost ran into the street. You saved her. But who saved Dylan?" Rachel looked at him sharply. "Ryan, what's he talking about?" Before he could answer, the TV screen changed. The
static cleared, and there was Dylan, alive, sitting in what looked like a basement, shaking but unharmed. Behind him, a shadow moved. Rains shouted, "Freeze that frame! Look at the background!" Rachel leaned closer. On the screen behind Dylan, faint but visible, was a wall covered in drawings. Blue crayon sketches of an oak tree, a red ball, a white fence. Rains's throat went dry. "That's my backyard." Before they could process it, a faint noise came from the basement door. A slow, rhythmic creak. Rains swung his flashlight toward it. The lock was open. "Stay back," he whispered to Rachel and pushed the door open. The light swept down the stairs, revealing nothing but dust and concrete. He descended carefully, every step heavy with dread. At the bottom, a chair sat in the middle of the room, facing the wall. On the wall was a large mirror, and taped to it, another note. "Look closer." Rains took a step forward, the beam of his flashlight trembling across the glass. For a moment, he saw only his reflection, pale, exhausted, terrified. Then, from behind him in the reflection, a figure appeared. Rachel screamed, "Ryan, behind you!" He spun around, gun raised. No one was there. When he turned back to the mirror, the reflection was gone. But in its place, a new image had appeared. Dylan, sitting in the chair where Rains now stood, and written in red marker beneath the mirror, The detective was the clue all along. Before Rains could react, his radio crackled. A voice, calm, familiar, spoke softly. You should have followed what he loved most. Then came a child's laughter. Rains's flashlight flickered, then died completely, plunging the basement into darkness. When backup arrived 20 minutes later, the house was empty. No sign of struggle. No Dylan. No Rains. Only the tape still spinning, whispering one final message. If you think this case is over, hit subscribe. Because some stories never really end.